My name's Brett, welcome to Suburban Garage. Welcome to the first episode of the first series of Suburban Garage. In this series we are going to convert these two motorcycles. These two motorcycles are 1992 Honda CB750 Super Sports. We're going to turn it from this old style motorcycle, which is not real popular these days, and we're going to enhance it into this motorcycle here, which should give it a look of the current days for the next 10 years. And we're going to do this, we're going to do all this work on a $1,000 budget. We're going to keep it at $1,000, which makes it more appealing to you guys and girls working in your workshops at night time. We're going to do all the paint. We'll make the seat. Once again, the seat's made out of tractor seat. We'll customise all that. We'll get all that working. We're going to try and keep this at $1,000. I guarantee you we'll keep this at $1,000. It's not a bad day outside. What do you say we get these bikes outside and get some real daylight on these and have a really good look at them? Okay, we're outside now. The visibility's pretty good. There's enough light on these bikes to see what we're going to make. Tried to create a real show without any out of the way deadlines. We're just going to make the bike as we go. What we're going to talk about is most of the parts that I've done to this bike, most of the things that I've changed on this bike here. So at the end of the series you're going to have a nice looking motorcycle, little turn heads, people want to talk about it, and it looks brilliant on the road. And I'm revitalising these old Hondas and giving them a new look. The seat on this bike is actually made from a tractor seat, which I trace the actual design of the seat out, cut that out, get that to the upholster. I weld the bolts in there, we do all the mounting. You'll see all that as the series progresses. And it looks like a quite nice, comfortable seat. That's the style that I've chosen, but you can choose a different style if you like. This is the guard we're going to use. This guard was about $100 from Melbourne, pre-rolled. I didn't have to roll it. We're not going to use any heavy machinery making this motorcycle. All the parts and things are easily accessible. The tools, you should have all these tools at home if you're mucking around in the garage at night time with just your general hand tools. This guard here, we only use about 3/4 of this guard. This guard is exactly what you see here. Now these brackets here, cameraman, these brackets down here, come around the back here, these brackets here, all these brackets and these brackets here are actually made from these. These are the brackets that are inside the box of off-road motorcycles when they come to the country in the box. You should be able to find these at the back of any of your local motorcycle shop. They only go to scrap metal. I'm sure they'll let you take them, because we actually use these as the brackets to hold the actual guard on. And I also use the bracket as well for the rear brake fluid reservoir. That bracket there is also made from those. We've taken the airbox out of this motorcycle. The battery was actually mounted inside the airbox. We've made, well, we haven't actually made, we've purchased this battery box just from the local supermarket actually. I've made a few battery boxes over the years, and they're quite difficult to make to go with the actual, let's say, the theme of the motorcycle, which I'm trying to have that 50s and 60s look. Right back to when the guys first started customising motorcycles in their garages in the 50s and 60s. Once again, that's available from your local supermarket. These rubber boots here that go on the carburetors, these are actually the original rubber boots that go to the airbox. There's 4 carburetors on them. These 2 boots go from
2 into 1 hole, both sides, so we can fit that in there nicely. I've actually turned that from a square to a round. We'll get that, once the series progresses through, we'll get that done too. And these filters are only about $25 each maximum. We'll run through all that. The plugs on the end of the subframe here, they're just handlebar plugs. I've actually sprayed fish oil inside and sealed it up so the moisture can't get in. And we fitted these nice little blinkers here. They're not LED, they're actually a globe type blinker that actually show up quite well. They're actually nice and bright. And this bike is an actual running motorcycle, which does actually sound quite nice. We've kept the standard pipes on this bike. We've kept the standard pipes, so we haven't done any alterations to the pipes nor to the engine. Now, as you can see when you come around here, I've actually put this little bag in here just to fill the hole a little bit, just for hat and sunglasses. And on this other side over here, you'll see another small bag that just has some tools in it, just to suit the look of the motorcycle. We haven't had to use these tools, but we've got them just in case. Make up the carbon fibre knee guards here to stop the paint from rubbing off the fuel tank. The rocker cover here has actually been polished, not by me, but by a polishing company here in Newcastle. That was only about $65 to get that polished. Now we'll move to these mirrors. These mirrors are only about $30. They're from Hong Kong. They're an actual nice fitting mirror to the motorcycle, along with these 6-way adjustable levers. There's a clutch lever on this side and a brake lever on this side, totally adjustable. They're only cheap as well. I reface the Speedos. I get these new faces out of England and remake the needles just to have that current look. When we show the other motorcycle over here, you'll see how sort of outdated the needles are. And we make those needles out of toothpicks because we're trying to keep the budget down. Even with the clock, it's hard to see the time when you're riding a motorcycle, so we've purchased this clock and we keep this clock on here. It's about $15. This headlight that we've got here, I imported this out of America, which is a nice headlight for the motorcycle actually. It's nice and bright. I've taped up all the wiring and made it sort of hidden away. This mudguard here is actually the original guard that I've just carbon wrapped and cut it down to make a smaller mudguard to make the overall bike look fine. I painted the wheels, pulled the discs off and painted everything. The paint that we use is 500 degree engine enamel with ceramic in it, so it's a nice thick paint and won't chip real easy. And the way that I've painted this bike, it's easy for touch-ups. I've wrapped the exhaust in fiberglass wrapping because I'm on a budget. We're trying to get this out there. To re-chrome these pipes is rather expensive, so what I've done, I've used fiberglass exhaust wrapping that has a heat activated glue. The rim stickers, they come out of England. They're fairly cheap as well. We'll go through all that. There'll be a whole list of things for this motorcycle, so if you choose to build it, you don't have to build it. I'm a Honda guy, so it's motorcycle now, and we'll just have a look at this motorcycle, because this motorcycle is exactly the same. This is a 1992 CB 750 Supersport. And as you can see, what I just described then, the Speedo here, with the old-fashioned needles, we reface all that and we have that looking really, really nice. It is a running motorcycle. It does have a nice quiet engine. It hasn't done too many kilometres at all. The blinkers, don't worry about these blinkers. All these blinkers are going to be thrown away. The tail light, the back, the bar, the seat, the fairing, you can give that to your local motorcycle wrecker, or you can just turn around and sell it all on eBay. But we're going to strip everything down, we're going to clean it all up, we're going to make this bike look pretty good. This particular bike has got some wear and tear on the pipes. I think what I'm going to do to keep the budget down so we don't exceed our $1,000 limit is I'm going to reface that with some liquid metal and rub that back and I think we might have this on this bike. We might have these pipes as black. I'll go and get these re-chromed and have these covers looking nice, and we'll keep these pipe black. But we're going to get rid of all this sort of stuff. On the second episode, we'll strip all this down and get this down to a bare bones bike, so we can start playing around and make this bike look good. Readily available for any of your motorcycle place. This part here with the LED light and the blinkers, the handlebar stops, they all come from Graham Morris Motorcycles, which is our local motorcycle shop here in Newcastle. This is what I was explaining about the rusted pipes. Don't worry about these rusted pipes, because we're going to wrap this in that fiberglass wrapping. We're going to paint the engine. We're even going to paint the carburetors. We're going to paint everything. We'll cover things up. We're not going to pull the engine out because it's a very heavy engine, and we're going to need a few people to actually lift that out. But if we take things up appropriately, there'll be no need to take the engine out. We'll cover up the ID tags and things so that it'll still have its original look. Don't worry about all this sort of paint stuff. All this is going to be cleaned up. The guard's going to be trimmed back. The blinkers are going to go. The headlight's going to go. The levers, we're going to replace the levers. These little dents in the tank, I'm going to repair those. I'll repair those on another video, so I'll show you how to repair those. Get rid of the pillion passenger foot pegs. We'll paint things. Get rid of the whole back end of this motorcycle, and have it looking like this motorcycle over here. And it won't take long at all to have it looking like that. Okay, we're back in the workshop again. This will just about wraps up the first episode of Suburban Garage. On the second episode, we will go through the donor bike that we're going to strip down. We'll strip all the parts off it that we don't need. We'll have them all laid out on the floor so you can visually see what we need and what we don't need. I'll have a full budget on the second episode of everything that we need for the show to build this bike, in the way of mirrors, levers, speedo, faces, headlights, pipe filters, seat, carbon fibre. We'll have everything. We're going to keep this way under $1,000. You should still have money left. I've tried to create a real show on a real budget in a real suburban garage, and I hope that all the little tips and tricks that I bring to you, you may not want to build this bike, you may want to build something else, but if I can at least bring you some creative tips and some budget stuff for you to do to keep your budget down, that's what I aim to do.